Hello, everybody. I'm Dane Gentry. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Tonight, Beth's going to be joining me. She'll be coming on here in just a second. We're going to be talking about the importance of the NA program. Some reason it's not letting her come on. I sent her the invite. Let's see here. Should be here in just a second. Anyway, so the importance of the program. It's a very important part of the process of getting sober and staying sober. It's always not an easy thing to do whenever you first, come through detox or whatever it may be. You're trying to find your footing, and it won't. Your mind just tells you, for when you're all nervous, you don't want to go to the meetings. You don't want to get a sponsor. There you are.
Okay, I'm so challenged with technology. I don't know why, but I am. But I'm on now.
Me too. I'm technology challenged a little bit.
No, you're not either. You're way advanced compared to me.
I just got to spend more time with it than you do. You got way more important things going on.
I don't know about that. It's all important.
All right. So the importance of the NA program or program, it ain't got to be an NA program, AA or Celebrate Recovery or whatever A you may have. I was just saying how difficult it is sometimes whenever you first get sober. I mean, you got so many different emotions going on anyway, and you don't want to go to the meetings because you feel out of place, and you don't want to. There's Nick, and you don't want to. Hey, Nick, how you doing, man? You don't want to raise your hand to get a sponsor and all these different things, but it's also important.
Sometimes it's hard just to get out of the house.
It is because people deal with mental health and all these different things, but but those are the things that you have to find out what's going on, because there's a reason. There's something that's trying to stop you from going to them places, because it'll help.
For sure.
So getting a sponsor is one of the most important things, and that again goes with whatever program you may be working. They all have them. Some of them call them leaders and different things. They call it something different. And good to see you too, man. He said, "Good to see you too." I know you can't see that probably, but
I can't.
yeah, I know it's all right. Uh, I think they call it something different in Celebrate Recovery. It is a sponsor, but they have something else there too. It's like you have a sponsor, but you have, I want to say leader, but I don't think that's the right word. But I can't remember. I've only been to
I'm
a couple
not
of them.
sure either.
I ain't either. But
I've had a sponsor in Al-Anon, which, for those people that don't know, Al-Anon is for friends and family of alcoholics and addicts, because we get sick too, and we need a program too, to help us and help us not to enable, help us to maintain our boundaries. And I got very sick, being on the other side of it, and so all these programs, it's important to have somebody to mentor you, somebody that you can look up to, somebody that you can trust, and that gets it.
yeah, and that's what people. That's what I was talking. Was it last night? I was talking about that. I was talking about that. I was saying how that when we go to treatment or whatever, we're working on ourselves, and the family's just sitting there, so it causes more resentment. You get madder because you feel like we're the ones that have caused all the problems anyway, and then here we're off on a vacation of some sorts. And treatment's not a vacation by no means, but that's what it can feel like to you, right? Or wrong?
Feel like you're on a vacation?
Or just like I'm there getting help. I was there getting help, and
Yeah, but for me, and we're gonna probably talk about this another night too, but for me, I wanted that, for you. I needed that. I needed that for me and for you. But I could understand how people feel like, yeah, you're getting to go and get all this help, while somebody else on the other side is having to still, work, and they're not getting fed. They're not getting, the same kind of care. It depends on what facility, that you may be at. You've, been blessed to go to some nice facilities where you're, taken care of, you're fed good food, you have, um, you know, different sort of programs within that facility that are offered to you. I could get how people get resentful, maybe because they need that too. But at the end of the day, for me, I was glad that you were off the street, and getting the care that you needed. It took a lot of stress off of me, knowing that you were in somebody else's capable hands, and the burden, quite frankly, didn't wasn't on me.
Right. I mean, let's be honest about it. Even when I had charges and shit, and I'd go to jail, I think even then you felt better in some ways. I mean, I wasn't out there sticking a needle in my neck and shit. And so,
Absolutely. That's another topic too.
yeah, I know we're
And
gonna we keep saying
inside
that.
the institutions, that's stressful too. But there was a time when I called to have you arrested, because I knew that was the only thing at the time that was going to save your life. So, yes, I there was relief for sure.
I want to touch on that just a second because what she's talking about right there, the way it all happened, I do believe that it saved my life that night for sure. I believe I was in my truck dying, to be honest about it, and they woke me up. Um, I come to and I had cops all around me. I didn't know what was going on. I'd been out so long that my mind couldn't wrap around. I knew I was in trouble, but I didn't know for what. I didn't know. I just thought, oh fuck, what have I done now? And I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw the cop standing back there with the AR, and I was like, damn. And this cop's knocking on my window. He's like, can you roll down the window? I said, no, I can't do that. and, he said, come on, Mr. Gentry, I'm just going to take you in for the parole violation. If you roll down the window, I don't care what you got. None of that. And I said, I can't do that, man. I still trying to get my thoughts together. And I said, I said something. I don't remember what I said. Oh, I said, you let me smoke a cigarette. And he said, yeah, if you'll get out peacefully and let me get you in handcuffs, I'll do that anyway. It turned out he kept his word. But anyway, so all that stuff. I mean, just that little brief story right there, you can just imagine what the family goes through. But so a sponsor. Let's talk about a sponsor for a second. How important they are. That's something that I wouldn't do. I would never do until I finally had enough and got a sponsor. And the whole idea of a sponsor is, number one, have somebody to talk to, but number two is to guide you through the steps. The steps are very therapeutic. Do they? I don't know the answer to this. Do they do the steps in Al-Anon too? Is that what it is?
Yes, yes, we do the steps too. It's just they're just worded differently. Everything is based off Alcoholics Anonymous, 12 steps, um, all kinds of all the different 12-step programs are based off that off the AA steps. So it's just worded differently.
Right. So you go through the whole thing. I mean, you're sitting
Yeah.
there and
Except I'm powerless. I'm powerless over my addict or alcoholic that's in my life. Yes, we go through all the steps, and you know have to make amends too. There's things that we have to make amends for as well. They're all the same steps. They're just worded a little bit differently. So in my case, because I was on the other side of and loved an addict, my drug was you. So I had to realize that I was powerless over you, which was very hard because I spent so many years fighting for you, trying to do everything for you, that I almost loved you to death. And that's something that somebody had to point out to me. And I think I'm trying to help. And I was driving myself crazy. But I almost loved you to death. I almost did too much to enable you.
it's kind of difficult to hear. I mean, that's why we've been talking about doing another show, and we almost was going to do it tonight. And then right at the end, hey, Bella, how you doing? Right there at the end, I said, I don't want to do it tonight. I didn't want to get that emotional, to be honest about it, because I know it's going to be emotional. We're going to do it.
Now I'm always emotional, so people are gonna have to deal
Yeah,
with that.
yeah. I was a scaredy cat tonight. I didn't. I wasn't ready just to air it all out.
No,
But
I think you
we're
probably
gonna.
God probably told you just wasn't the time, and
Yeah.
um, and there will be a time, and it will be coming soon. So
Pink Squirrel said yes. I guess apparently this is the first time I've seen Pink Squirrel. I believe, unless it's someone I know that's changed their name or something. But said that yes, I guess she's agreeing that almost loved me to death. And that, I mean, that's, I mean, it has to be difficult. I
If you
mean,
if you don't get into a program, whichever program you fit into, you don't understand things. It's important to get into a program for a lot of reasons. For even just the mere connection, it's a relief to be around people that get you and what you're going through, because for so long, addiction, you know, it's people have been more familiar with alcoholics more, and then when it come, to drug addiction, it was such a stigma, and there was so much shame like surrounded by it. People didn't talk about that for long. So for me to be able to get into my program and be able to talk to people that got me and understood what I was going through was a relief. And to have the connections that I could call somebody and say, you know what, I'm really struggling right now. I need to talk. And I would get to that point where, they talk about men having a hard time, but it's hard for women sometimes too, to pick up the phone and think that somebody, would you really care that much to talk to me and what I'm going through? But they do. These are the people that get it. Now, could I pick up the phone and talk to my mom about it? No, she doesn't get it. Could I pick up the phone and talk to a friend about it? No, they don't get it. But people in these programs, they get it. They've been through it. They've walked it. They get it. So to have that connection, have somebody understand what you're going through is like, it's such a relief. I don't know any other word. It's just a relief, and it's freeing, to get to talk to people that get it.
yeah, I was answering. I'm listening to you, and let me ask you. I remember. Now, let me ask you this. Let me say something about it. I remember when you started going, and I remember some things that you would say, and I'd be like, "Hell no, you ain't going back to talk to that woman no more. They're making you not like me." And and that's
To set boundaries, they teach you to set boundaries, and setting that boundaries would, it's keeping you from getting your way and getting what you want, because I get a little bit stronger and I'm able to say no and maintain that boundary. And and when you're in active addiction, you're not getting your way. So yeah, so you didn't want that, for sure.
mm-mm.
Nobody in active addiction wants that. You don't want to be told no, for sure.
No, that's the biggest thing, and that demon's driving you, and you hear things, you're just not feeling them. Anybody that says that they are, you'll have that. I mean, people have that when you're real high. You have that brief moment of, oh man, look what I've done. Oh well, back to what I'm doing, and just gone. I mean, it's just like that way.
Mhm.
And I said, this lady said something to me in treatment a few years back, and she said, you tell your wife that you love them, your kids that you love them, this, that, and the other. And she said, just like this, you're a fucking liar. You love your dope. And I believe that. But someone said something. I feel differently about that now. It's not that we love the dope anymore. It's just that the dope has more of a control on us.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, I didn't love being a junkie. I didn't love nothing about it.
All right.
That junkie word's a hard word to hear, but it's the truth. You can't run from that. And I used to try to run from it, but I kind of embrace it today because it's the truth. That's what I was. I was just a worthless fucking junkie as far as that goes. I wasn't worthless. I'm somebody, but the drug made me worthless, made me, everybody gave up hope on me for sure, without a doubt, except for one person. And that's the one person that I try to drive away no matter what. Shit, I mean, going, that's still another topic for another day as well. But,
And
um,
you call yourself a junkie, but they are trying to steer away from that and use the person first language, because you are a person first
yeah, I
and
know.
you suffer with an addiction. Well, I'm just saying that. But some people still, like to use that term. We don't. We'll say you're a person that suffered with addiction or substance use disorder or whatever, because you are a human being first. But for so long, you haven't felt that way.
No, you haven't. And that's something that is very hard too, especially, man, being in a jail cell and laying on the floor and just, I've been through some bad ones, as we said before, and one in particular was real bad. And I remember laying there thinking, I was going to die. I didn't think I was going to make it through it. But I just kept thinking, I didn't want you to get that phone call or whatever. And I also kept thinking, man, I don't want to die like this. I don't want that to be it, because I don't want some preacher up there lying, saying I was all this good person and shit, because I wasn't. And that's a lot of things that drive me today to be sober, because I want somebody to say something good. But it's hard. But what I was getting at is that all your emotions come flooding back, man, and you've got no way to channel them out any kind of way. And of course, I would exercise, I would work out or whatever, and try to get all that shit out of you. But you don't know what's going on. It's like, man, and I wasn't a crier and all that shit. And you would want to, but here you are in jail, and you gotta be this big old tough guy or whatever, or you're just some kind of punk. And it's hard, it's difficult. And you know people look at it, they say, oh, just old drug addicts easy. Man, ain't nothing easy about that shit, nothing at
Mm-mm.
all.
No.
That's why when we turn our lives around, we're just such go-getters. And most of us, not all of us, some people are just happy with what they have or whatever, and that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
Others are, we want to go out and do more. But um, like me, I didn't do nothing for so long, so it's like I'm wasting time if I'm not doing something, kind of thing. But the emotion part of it it's hard, and there again it goes back to that sponsor again, and the importance of that program, because you can talk to them and in these meetings and stuff that I can talk to you about it, but it's just so many emotions involved that you know what I'm talking about. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Anger comes up as soon as you say it, or what, as it should. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you got somebody right there beside you, and man, they done seen you, I mean, go through hell. I mean, through the worst of your worst. I mean, all you can imagine: prison, jail, almost dying. I mean, on and on. And then I look at you, and we're riding down the road, and I say, I had a craving today. It's going to scare you. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
where it's going to come from. You're going automatically, it's going to be fear,
Yep.
and it's going. We react to fear certain ways, and it's going to be anger most part. And so that's the
Because
importance of that.
all my memories of what I've been through with you come back to me, and it is very scary. And I want to protect and take care of, and that's where my program comes in to play, where I learn my boundaries, and I'm not responsible for you. There's only one savior, and that's Jesus Christ. It's not me. But for a long time I thought it was me. I thought everything fell on my shoulders. So having somebody, yeah, that we have to maintain boundaries in every relationship. You and I are, are a couple, but there's different relationships between a parent and child, or siblings, whatever the relationship may be. But you definitely have to have that person in your life to be able to share with. That I mean, that just they get it. I can't get everything because I haven't been down the same roads. I haven't done the same things that you have. So as much as
Thank
I,
God.
yeah, yeah, as much as I want to, understand it, it can be stressful to me, especially when you say, I've had a craving, and I can sit there and tell you all day long, yes, tell me. Um, but to be honest, it does set me on guard.
Yeah, I don't have cravings. I was just using that as, I mean, that we just had a conversation about that.
Yeah,
Not saying I ever won't, but I don't.
but you
Some
have
people do. Oh,
before,
I have.
and
Oh, yeah, I have. Yeah, and some people have them all the time. Some people struggle, man. Some people struggle really, really hard. And I'm not saying I had never struggled. I just don't struggle today. Tomorrow might be a different day. I'm not struggling right now.
Mhm.
Thank God. But we know, one slip up, and there it goes. And that's the scary part too, because no matter, man, if you've been sober 20 years, still in the back of your mind, you're always going to remember that. I'm talking to you. And so that's why, again, the program, people, you can't ever stop working it. So many people. I saw a lady last night celebrate 17 years, and she lost a sponsee. It's been 5 years ago on her anniversary of sobriety, and just to hurt. And she said the same exact thing that everyone says. She quit working the program. Um, People call it a cult. They call it whatever they want, but the shit works, man. Um, there's not many people that don't have to do it. Nick, who's on here now, he didn't have to. And I know another old man that I met a long, long time ago. He didn't either. He would always come to these meetings, and he'd always have a Bible. He wouldn't have an AA book or NA book. And so, me, I'm nosy. So I was like, I want to talk to
Mhm.
this guy. And
My
so,
mom would say curious.
Yeah,
She likes
curious. There
that
you
word
go.
better than nosy.
Yeah.
Yep. Hmm.
And so I
Hmm.
wanted to talk to him, and I always like talking to older people anyway. They got a lot of wisdom, but um, and I asked him, and he said, I just did it with God. And I walked in the church and never drank again. And he reads his Bible, you know. And some people do read the NA book or the AA book, like, and that's okay. You know, people want to judge them. No, the main thing is, man, they're staying sober. You got to do what works for you. Um, but that sponsor, you got to find somebody that, for me, it has to be somebody I can't push over, as you know that.
Yes, you need a
'Cause
strong. Yeah, everybody has. Everybody will know. There'll be a person you connect with when you sit in the rooms. And the thing is, too, let's say this: if you're getting into a program, it's important just to get they should give you a list of names. It's important just to get even a temporary sponsor, just somebody to help hold you accountable, somebody there for you. And as you continue to go to the meetings, you'll find somebody, right, that you relate to and feel like that's me. They would get me. This is where I want to be, and you'll know it. But getting a temporary sponsor is important just when you're first getting in there, and getting a list of names of people to connect to, because they're there for the accountability, for the support, for the guidance, um, and and for acceptance. Like, again, not everybody gets it. Not everybody, you know, understands it. I guess been educated, or I think nowadays more people um, probably have some story, or can relate to addiction in some way. I think everybody's life has been touched in some way by addiction. It may be a friend of a friend, but unfortunately, it's getting closer to home every day.
Yeah, I'm looking at this picture that you have on here of me and you, and I know where we
Mm-hmm.
were at when that picture was took, and I was high. I'm
Mm-hmm.
high in that picture. Um,
Yep.
we were out having a good time, actually, but we were downtown Nashville, wasn't we? Yeah, I know where we were. I don't know what was that
Yep.
at. Was that at Overhead? It was at one of them. I don't remember, but I
Yep.
wasn't drinking, but I was just high. I remember having to
Mm.
go back to the vehicle and get high. And that's all them things are just so sad. But man, in sobriety, you get to build so many more memories. But let me ask you a question about Al-Anon, since we're on that kind of subject. So
Okay.
in there, the same deal. You get a temporary sponsor there too?
Yep. Same
Same.
thing. Yep. And I would pay attention when I would go in, and I'm gonna tell you what, it took a lot for me um to walk in through those doors too. Um I didn't want to admit I was weak and couldn't handle things. Um it was hard for me, but I'll never forget the one woman I met, and she's an older woman, had been in the program for a long time. I immediately clicked with her. She's the one that I went to. I knew right off the bat I was lucky
I
with
didn't
that.
like her.
But huh?
I didn't like her.
If anybody told me to take care of myself over you, you didn't like them.
No.
um, but yes, it's important to have somebody. Somebody's got to guide you. You're new. You don't know what you're doing. It's like starting a job. You've got to have somebody teach you their process, how their program works. You just don't know everything off the bat, so you've got to have somebody that can help guide you.
Yeah. And then you just move on to the do people. I guess people have to work that the rest of their life too. You don't now, of course, or whatever. But
I still,
um,
I still do. Yeah, you still do. Y- you're supposed to. Yeah,
yeah.
and then a lot of people go there. That have been, well, that have been there for a long time. They go, just to add support, but they still work the steps. We still, if we don't stick in something, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it's important, and sometimes you have to go back through steps and do things. I still have to make amends for things that I do wrong. I mean, I just
Oh
told
yeah,
you.
yeah, I knew that. I was talking about as far as going
Oh,
to the meetings. Yeah, I know you do that. Yeah, I know you
yeah,
still analyze things in your daily life,
yeah.
for sure, without a doubt. I know that. And then everyone knows you work in treatment as well.
Hmm.
Anyone who's new, Beth works in treatment, and she's fixing to be a licensed clinical
And a
alcohol.
master's in addiction counseling, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's I have three more classes to go, and then I start practicum. It's been a long road, but I will say this is one of the times. There's very few times I've felt this much power of God speaking to me, but this was one of the times, and I knew without a doubt. He told me, to move. I had been playing with the idea. I'm so tired of school. I don't want to go to school. I want, nursing school and all that. But he told me, yes, go for it. And it's been a journey, but I have no idea where he's going to lead me with it still. But I knew without a doubt it was what he was telling me to do. So I'm getting closer to it. It's been a long road, but I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too. I'm excited for you. I'm excited every day when someone tells you how much you touched your life already and what you do now.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, and there's not, and we all need that in our lives, and this that, and the other. You know, this addiction thing, man. It's hard. It's just I'm lucky and blessed that I don't have all these health problems that could change tomorrow, and I'm lucky I didn't put you through so much stress that you had a stroke and a heart attack and
Yeah,
all
because it
these
felt
different
like
things.
it.
Oh, I can only imagine. I've said to you before, I know, but I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be on the other end of it. I only know what it's like to be on this end. And that's going to be the importance of this show we're going to do. One day this week, we're going to do it. Um, it's going to be a tough one. But it's one that people need to hear. Because there's people out there today who probably don't know and realize that their boyfriend or girlfriend is on dope, because you can kind of maintain it, excuse me, for a second, not long when it comes to the opiate thing, because it just takes over so fast. And if you don't know the signs and you don't look for it, then you may find your loved one being, on the floor dead or whatever. Tick
Mhm.
Radio said, "Thank you for sharing your history, Beth."
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
um, and so,
I'm an
yeah,
open book. I probably share too much. People get with me. I tend to talk too much.
no, I
That's
mean
it.
that was the whole idea when I started this whole podcast thing was
Mhm.
being raw and being true, and that's why I don't edit them. I don't do anything. What's recorded is gone out because so many people, like some of these shows that like when I'm going on, it might not come out for 3 months, and I'm just like, why? Why do it that way? I'm sure more people will start doing it the way we're doing it because it's working, but I just feel like that's what it needs to be, because in a way it's like a meeting in a way.
Mhm.
And if you missed a meeting, hey, we can go listen to this podcast and we can basically hear a meeting. um, and I had it set up to do basically an HNI. It kind of fell through. HNI is just where people go into treatment centers and stuff and tell the new people in treatment what it's all about, basically, about getting a sponsor and all these things. Which is kind of why I kind of want to do this tonight, because so many people, man, they go into treatment and they waste the time that they're there. And we know I did it many times. I don't know
A
how
lot
many
of
treatments
people
I went
have.
to in one year, but I went to a lot. It was
Mhm.
a lot of them. I went everywhere. I was all over the place. I was in Mississippi. I was in Florida. I was back in Tennessee. I was everywhere. And but I sit there and I didn't do anything. I would sit there. I was the guy who would put my hoodie on and give you that mean stare, and they know it, and a lot of them are for money, but there's always someone usually who cares. Um, you just kind of got to find them and see them, but it's always the people who get paid less. Whatever reason that is, I don't know. It's the people that you first meet when you first get there, and the last one you see when you leave. Um,
Mhm.
they're the low man on the totem pole, as they say, but in reality, the low man's the high man. Really, is where it all started at. But the unconditional love, I'm sure is what she's meaning right now. Let me tell you something about unconditional love. This woman on the other side of this microphone over here is the it should be her picture in the dictionary for unconditional love.
Thank you.
Y'all just don't. You're gonna hear what this lady went through with me, and you all are gonna be like, wow. What I mean? Anyone's an addict, and man, we do a lot. And what I really hope from it, it's gonna be embarrassing for me in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways it's not. But what I hope is that people will hear it and wake up and realize what you're doing. Because
It
at the end
shouldn't
of
be
the
because
day,
the power of sharing that message and what you've been through gives somebody else hope to think, somebody may have not gone that far down yet, but then somebody may have gone that far down and think, you know what, there is hope. There are good people out there. There are people that care. they're not people just sitting there in judgment, pointing their fingers at me, because that's how you feel when you're first coming into recovery. You feel so much shame, so much guilt, and to have somebody, and I wasn't perfect at loving you through all this. Well, we're going to talk about that in another episode, but knowing how to love you was hard through this. Knowing how to love an addict is not easy. It was very challenging, but I have to give God the credit. I believe that he brings us to things to bring us through things, and he's not leaving me. There was a reason for it, and honestly I thought I wanted to be a nurse, and I went through and graduated nursing school, and here I am ending up working in addiction. um
Yeah,
so to me it's a blessing, and I get to see people all the time come in broken, and and I get to see them throughout their recovery and how they grow, and it is the most inspiring thing ever. um
yes,
Not to mention you too, because it had been a long road, so, and there was
yeah.
times I wasn't sure you were gonna make it through it. But it is very inspiring to me, so.
It is, and that's why people say, and they mean this, and for everyone who's struggling trying to walk through that door, people want to see you walk through that door. People want
Mhm.
to see you raise your hand. People want to hear you talk. So please do it. I listen. I know it's nerve wracking. It's
And
it just
let's say
it.
this too: if you are new in recovery and you're considering um going into some sort of program like a 12-step program, um the meetings is what I'm talking about. Whichever meetings that it would be, give it a chance. It's not going to feel comfortable. You are going to feel so uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to learn to sit in the uncomfortable, to get comfortable. And sometimes you have to try different groups, because not every group will be the right group for you. But you got to give it a chance. It's not going to happen instantaneously. Most likely, if you walk into a group and that be your group and you feel comfortable right away, that's amazing. But that's not always going to happen. You got to give it a chance. You got to keep coming back. You've got to open your mouth so people can get to know you a little bit, and reach out. Give them that chance to reach out to you. If they don't reach out to them, go up to the whoever was leading the meeting at the end of the meeting and say, "Hey, I'm new. If you're not comfortable talking in the meeting, that's okay. I'm new. I need some numbers. I need to know what to do. I'm lost. I'm struggling." And they will help you. Some meetings already pass out. Like when you're there, they'll have a sheet and they'll start writing down names and numbers for you. And
Yeah,
when you leave, you'll have a list of names and numbers to call. But my main point is, don't give up. Don't think the first time you're going to feel so amazing after you go in. You may hear some things you like, you may not connect at all, but you've got to keep going back and give it a chance. There's a ton of meetings, and just let's say this, you can go on to like AA.org, NA.org, alonon.org, whichever meeting it is wherever you may fit. You can click on and it'll say find a meeting. You click in your zip code and find meetings. You can find meetings online, but let me encourage you to go in person. You need that social contact.
without a doubt.
Yep, it's great to have the online, but don't let that be it for you. You've got to have connections are so important. And not to get off topic, but loneliness is an epidemic. Isolation is not the key to recovery. You've got to go. You've got to make your feet move and get there. And sometimes if you have a trouble getting a ride, sometimes insurances will pay if you give them 24-hour notice, give you a ride. And sometimes once you're able to get there and you can meet somebody will pick you up and give you a ride. But the main
There,
thing is, don't give up. Just don't give up.
there's always somebody that'll give you a ride. And when she
Mhm.
was saying that about people writing their names down, um, Tick said AA arrived in Mexico in 1946. Man, that was right about the time it started too. Then, because it's right after the war, so it was somewhere in that. No, yeah, yeah, it was. It was
Yeah, because
somewhere in that.
Al-Anon started in um 1951.
Hmm. What happens is in the meetings, if you hadn't ever been, they do these readings and they'll say, "Is there anyone here for their first time in a meeting or AA meeting?" Just raise your hand. No one's going to look at you funny. People are going to look at you, but they're not going
Mhm.
to look at you funny. They're going to look at you with just smile. Everyone that's sitting there, I don't care if they've got. There's an old man that comes to meetings, man. He's got 37 years sober, and I still see this man get so excited every time someone picks up that white chip. I mean, it's just the
Mhm.
most genuine care and love you'd ever imagine. So that's what you're going to get. But I remember being in treatment and sitting there and thinking, damn, these people are too damn nice. Quit being so damn nice to me. Get away from me. I don't want to talk. And they just try to love you through it. And we know I had some experiences through all that because I was just a prick. But um, I just wasn't, I was there for the wrong reasons. And until I finally decided to get sober, everything changed. And you kind of know, but don't stop trying either. She was talking about don't stop trying. Don't stop trying, even if, man, listen, I don't care if please don't relapse, but if you do, come right back. Because nowadays, relapse is killing you. Your body's just not going to take it. I mean, they got this stuff and this dope now that is eating people's. I mean, it's just what it's doing to the bodies on the outside of their bodies is just unbelievable. And so I can only imagine what it's doing to the inside. And I saw a
Mhm.
video a while ago. It kind of pissed me off. I think that's what put me in a bad mood, really. But I wasn't in a bad mood. I just wasn't in a really good mood. But I was watching a video, and it's these guys are filming these two dudes that are knotted out on this sidewalk, and they're making fun of them. Man, quit making fun of people, man. Try to love them. Maybe if we do that a little bit better. I mean, man, they're struggling. You think they want to be laying there on that ground like that? They really don't. I can promise you, they don't. It's
It's
the only thing they got
heartbreaking.
left, man. It's the only way they can
Mhm.
find any comfort now. They have nothing. They're laying on the sidewalk in the freezing cold rain. Don't even have a tent, nothing over them. So
Mhm.
please don't think they want to do that, man. They don't, and that's what we don't do. Nowadays we all look down at our phones and we don't look up, and uh, everybody else is in our world in our way, and that's just not how it is. But there are a lot of people out there that do care and show a lot of love, and these meetings are that. I promise you, you can be out there on the sidewalk somewhere and somebody walk by you and throw a rock at you. All you got to do is walk in the door of a meeting, and everybody in there will give you all the love that you could ever imagine.
Let's not say everybody because there's still newcomers in there too. So don't expect everybody
Yeah,
because there are
well, yeah,
people in there that are still uncomfortable in their own skin. But yes, there are people there. They're going to recognize and be there. And the whole thing is, um, this is to help you. It is support for you from people, you know, that get you. They want to help you work towards your goals. And so many of them, there's a lot of them that are successful people now. They want to help you get jobs. They want to help you find a place to live. They just want to help. If you're serious about recovery, they want to help.
yes. If you're serious, and trust me, we can see through the bullshit because guess what? We was the bullshit. We know all about it. We know definitely how to do it, and it shows very, very quickly. You can go in there and try to play it and fake it all you want, but you still got them little signs and people see it, and so don't do that. But if you got to fake it to make it, okay, just don't
Mhm.
keep using, man, because it's not a game anymore. Dope ain't never been no good, but it really ain't no good now.
It is
It's all,
proven statistically that, with not just abstaining from whatever substance that you've been using, but with meetings and recovery, some sort of program that people have, longevity in recovery. They are long term in recovery. To try to
yes,
do it by yourself, to white knuckle it, it's it's very hard. I have clients that come in. Some people are dead against working a program. I rarely see very many of them make it, but the ones that are in a program, um, and serious about working it, y'all people, you got to work at it. Look, it's not easy. Like somebody's just going to drop $1 million at your door and life is just going to be grand. And it's not like that. You've got to work at things if you want it, but it's worth it. It's worth it because, like you were saying, people that go out now, and use, you don't know what you're getting. They're putting so much stuff. All the pressed pills. They're putting so many different drugs. There's going to be one thing after the next. As soon as they get a hold of one thing, there's going to be something else that's out there. It is so dangerous. They're putting it in pot. They're putting it in the cartridges, vapes, all that. Kids are getting a hold of it. People come in and we drug test them and they think that they've done heroin. That's not even out there really anymore. It's fentanyl, it's xylazine, it's they're mixing there's uh ecstasy, PCP, there's all kind of stuff being mixed in. It is deadly. It is deadly.
I talked to a guy in a meeting the other day, and I kind of know some of the same people who know stuff like that. But he was telling me about it. He has a friend, and she's on methadone. I don't recommend methadone at all. I tried that as well, but I don't recommend that. But um, anyway, she still likes to dabble in the dope, and K4 Dilaudid is her thing. And K4 Dilaudid is already strong as hell. I mean, that's the first thing that I ever shot, and she got it, and they found her dead on the bathroom floor. Luckily, they found her in time, but the same thing. It was pressed fentanyl. So
Hmm.
there's no pill out there now that is safe. None of them. People see it as to make money, and they're getting this fentanyl shit so cheap. And you was talking about those cartridges. That shit's coming off the dark web. Pure fentanyl cartridges. You look at your kid over there, and you're thinking, "Oh, it's okay. They're just smoking a little pot." Bullshit.
Hmm.
It's not okay. It's just not okay. You know, growing up, my thing, I got to do whatever I wanted to do because couldn't nobody tell me not to, really. But um, my mother just wasn't there, wasn't around. But you need to be all in your kid's business. It truly is a matter of life and death. And then not that, I mean, now you got the predators and all that shit. So
Hmm. For
you
sure.
just got to be all in their business and all that good stuff. I'm gonna cut this at 45 minutes, honey. You good with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. I do just want to say too that there are statistics out there, and I know you tell me kind of like not to get in all that stuff, but it is shown that 75% of people that get into like some sort of like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous is 75% of the members stay abstinent, as opposed to anywhere from like 8 to 12% of people trying to do it on their own. That's huge.
It
Um,
is.
it's huge. And I have people that come in. I've had people here lately saying that have relapsed, and they've said the one thing was, I stopped going to my meetings, I stopped talking to my sponsor, I stopped working my program. It was slow. It was slow. It was slow. Um, but it happened. You know that slowly they started dropping off, doing things. And I'm gonna tell you, I feel so much better. I may be so tired, but I know even going to church or going to a meeting, I feel so much better. I'm so glad. Like when I go, I feel so much better. I'm so glad that I went. Um,
Yeah.
I always hear something I need to hear every time, or able to help somebody else. But it is so beneficial. I can't say it enough. And for somebody to go somewhere where somebody gets me, um, is huge to me. It's huge.
It is. And then AA don't want you to say you're an addict. Some NA don't want you to be on Suboxone. It doesn't really matter. Suboxone is sobriety, so
Mm.
don't fall for that either. So just do what you need to do mainly to stay sober. But the program is really the only way. That's the one thing that is proven to work, as she said.
Yeah, you're
Um,
not gonna do it alone.
no,
Most likely. But the things are, I hear more and more. I keep telling people, do this, do that, and then they come into a moment of crisis. Y'all, we don't know. We can't predict what's going to happen in our lives. Our life can be going along just fine, and bam, something happens, and that's when a lot of people relapse because they don't have somebody to call. They don't. They don't have a program to go to. Having those connections, and they have events that you can go to. That they do, different groups will do fun things together, go out and do outings, they'll do cookouts. I mean, it's there's just a real fellowship there that people need, I believe. Obviously the statistics prove it too, but I know I
without
can't do it on my own. And I
without
have God, and I love God, but he's put things in my pathway for a reason, and this is one of them, is working a program. So it teaches you a lot. You will learn a lot. About yourself and how to live life.
what you find is that when you get sober, or hell, even go to jail, all them people you thought was your friends, man, they're not your friends. They were around because either you had the vehicle, or you had the connection, or you had a bigger scam than they did to make the better money. I mean, it's whatever. It's never a good friendship. But in that fellowship, you will build some very genuine the greatest friendships you could ever imagine.
There's hope. There's so many people are hopeless, feel hopeless. They're not hopeless. They feel hopeless. They feel
Yeah,
helpless and hopeless. And there's so much hope inside these doors in these recovery places. Um, Again, I've gone to several, AA or NA meetings with people since I was 16 years old, and I felt welcomed. There, I've felt the fellowship there, and I can't. I mean, I just can't say it enough how important it is to have somebody that gets me and understands me, and to have somebody that I can connect to, that I can reach out to, that it doesn't matter. They're going to be there for me. It's different than just having my regular friends out here. It is completely different. It is a family. You just got to find the right one to get
them
to.
steps, them steps.
Mm.
When you get ready to air all your shit out there, that's another reason that you got to have a sponsor that you're completely comfortable with and that you trust, because you got to remember you're fixing to tell this person your deep darkest secrets, because that's the shit that's keeping you sick. And so, Bobby said hello, Beth.
Sorry, I'm not. I can't. I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah,
Hi,
so
Bobby. Hi,
um,
everybody. Thank you for being here
it's
tonight
that
too.
that's one of the most important things. They don't always just word it that way, but when you're looking for that sponsor, and again, you may get 10 before you find the one, um, but you need that one that's gonna make your ass work. And when I say make you work, is work them steps.
Hmm.
Um, it's
You got
very
to do the
important.
work. You got to do the work.
You got to
You got
do
to
the
do the work
work.
in anything
Listen,
nowadays. You
listen.
got to do the work to.
We would do whatever it took to get that 100, 200, whatever dollars it was that we needed. That's what somebody said. Said, hell, addict, they get that $200 some way, somehow, every day. If you work that hard at staying sober, you can do it.
And
Like I
yeah, I heard
said,
somebody the other day that said, I'm sorry to cut you off. He said,
no, go ahead.
we would go out barefoot without a jacket in a snowstorm, knowing that we're gonna come back with, that drug or whatever that we wanted. We knew it, and we were gonna do whatever it took, do whatever it takes to get in recovery. It's an amazing feeling, and if you just stick it out, keep going and make those connections, you're gonna be so glad that you did. To have those true friendships. It's worth it. Do the work. Do the work. That mental
Yes,
health too. If you need mental health help, get into therapy. Do the work. It's worth it. We only have one life, and we deserve to have a good one and live a good one.
yeah. That's what I think about every day, is that all the years I wasted, and now every day I try to be better than I was yesterday and do a little bit better. And but I promise you, if I was to stop working that program, we know what it would be. And I won't ever do it. I won't ever stop. I believe in it wholeheartedly. Um, but God, again, we say this all the time. Without God, none of it's going to work.
Yeah.
I heard someone say, and it made me cringe when the lady said it, the one that was celebrating 17 years. She said, God is away, and if I offended everybody, I don't give a damn if I do offend anybody
Yeah,
about
for
God. That's
real.
just how it is.
Mm.
That's just how it is, because that's the only way.
And
So
you
I
don't and you don't have to go in believing. I will say that because not everybody's able to do that. You know, you don't have to go in believing. We do. You don't have to go in believing, having that faith to go into these meetings. People make whatever they want their higher power. You and I are Christians, and we believe in God, and that's the only way for us. We hope that people come to know Him, but I do just want to say that I don't want that to prevent people. I do want to share this. I just had somebody on. You can get me choked up on Sunday that I witnessed accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior at 77 years old. She
wow.
lost her son to suicide 4 years
Mm,
ago this April, and she didn't believe. She's a believer now. You don't have to believe to go in there, but I'm telling you, I know He's the only way. But you don't have to believe to go in there. But it's amazing. At 77 years old, that she finally came to believe. Heard another story on the Christian radio station we listened to. Somebody had practiced witchcraft for so many years. They found Jesus. But you don't. The thing is, you don't have to believe. You can be as broken is. Walking through those doors, those people are gonna love you.
yes, they are. Um, Man, without a doubt. I mean, and that goes in the same way with church. You know, if you go to church, you got to find the right one there too. Um, that's the most important because we know it's sad, but they're all not the same. And a lot of times you'll find more love as you walk through the door of A or NA.
Yep. Yep.
Definitely celebrate recovery, man. I mean, that's you know my they're all amazing. Don't get me wrong, they are. But something about celebrate recovery, and if you hadn't tried that, and you're struggling to find your way in these programs, give that a try.
Mhm.
They're every night of the week except for Sunday because they have church on Sunday. But um,
Yep, and even there, you and I tried one, and we liked certain aspects of it, but it wasn't until you went to, another one in another area that you really saw the difference there and how they reached out to you. Um,
yeah,
at that
yeah,
other place. So that's why we say keep trying different ones. If one place just doesn't feel like, oh, I don't like this, try another one. They're all over, different times, different days. Um, some places run them 24 hours a day, not Celebrate Recovery, but meetings and stuff. Celebrate Recoveries are usually always at nighttime, and they serve food. They kind of have a worship. You don't have to do that. You can just go and do the meeting. But the more you're able to connect to people, the more comfortable you're going to be. um, you know, feel your uncomfortableness, but do it anyway. Feel the fear, but do it anyway. It's worth it.
the celebrate recovery. You don't have to struggle with addiction. You struggle with anything,
Any sort,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever you feel that you're struggling with. I
Hmm.
promise you that they have it. You know, they have it there for you, and you'll hear other people,
There's
and you'll be like,
people that
"Damn,
may have been in prostitution. There's all kind of different things that people go, and they break out into different groups there. So they'll have like a room for men, um, that are in AA or NA, and they'll have one for women. They have different groups that you can break out into, and they should have a table set up usually out front, where there's people to greet you,
yeah."
and can help direct you on where to go.
Yeah,
So
they want you to write your name on a little sticker they want to put on your shirt because everybody wants to know who you are. And um, I'll tell you something kind of funny. A lady said it the last one I went to. She said she was up there and she said she struggled with codependency, and she said road rage. She said it's not road rage anymore; it's road anger. She
mhm.
experienced road rage from someone else, and she said, "I just got road anger." It's kind of funny. I guess she had someone follow her, some man or something, and she said,
Hmm.
"I don't even know what I did wrong."
Yeah,
But anyway, all right, we're gonna shut this thing down. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
And just want to thank God for being with us. Hope this reaches people, and hope that they can pick one thing out at least that may help them or lead them to a better life.
Amen. You know, again, no matter what you do, no matter what you're struggling with, reach out to God first. Um, Tick
Many
said,
blessings to you too.
Amen. You know that's the main thing, man. Just I'll tell you what I did. I hit my knees, and again, I've been a godly person or a thought for a long time, but when I finally hit my knees and cried out and said, "Listen, that's it. I'm done. Please take this away from me, and please you,
It's all right.
yeah,
It's all right.
please do me as you will, with me as you will." And
Mm-hmm.
um, so we love y'all, and God bless y'all. And again, just reach out to God for whatever you need, and He'll lead you the right way, and He'll lead you. Pray about it, man. Promise you, pray about it, meditate on it. That's one of the most important things. Listen, we spend all of our time talking to God. We got to listen to Him too. And it's hard. I know we all don't have time, but if you can pray for 10 minutes and sit there and listen to Him for 20, you'll be amazed how He'll talk to you and
Yeah.
give you the right answers and stuff like that. It's very, very important. Meditate an hour if you can. Meditation is very important too. So anyway, all right, we love
Whatever.
y'all. Got
Blessings to you all too. I'm seeing. I can't see all the names. I
it's
see Bobby,
Bobby.
but
Yeah,
blessings to you all too. And somebody else said it. So
Tick Radio did.
I'm blessed every day. I get to wake up and feel my pulse, um yeah, I'm a human being too. I have rough days too, and I don't always act and respond the ways that I should. But I'm trying. I'm always a work in progress.
We're human. We're
Yeah,
human.
absolutely.
Uh, all right. All right. Well, I love you, honey.
Love
Um,
you.
love y'all guys. God bless. We'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Bye
Good
bye.
night.